All right. Now, the teaser in this episode was about a floor, a price floor. Okay. Peas. Have they hit a floor? Yes, they have. You have yellow peas, green peas, maple peas all climbing this week. Maples and greens climbing $1 a bushel from what I would call the harvest low. And yellows going from high sixes now to 750. Still a few trains out there to fill. Still seeing some prices, 25 to 40 cents above the posted, like those specials there to fill some cars. And so we found a little bounce here. Now, everyone's concerned about, for the yellow pea market, what's December movement look like? What's January movement look like? What does the price do in the meantime? But we have found a floor. All right. I don't think we can deny it. I think we should give it a round of applause. Thank you, peas. Thank you, Feed Barley. Feed Barley values in Lethbridge have not dropped in 12 days. You guys know that? 12 days. They have not dropped. Steady for 12 days. Have they rallied? No, but they've been steady. Okay. That's something. That's a bottom. All right. That's a bottom right now. That's good. And wheat, we'll see. We will see. But it looks like there's some promise there. Now, I need you to still be cautious on your recovery on the bounce. Okay. I know you want a big rally and a big bounce. I'm not seeing that. I'm really not seeing that. I'm just telling you, here's a floor. Where do we go from here? Yeah. And hopefully that is for higher values this winter, and by a large degree to pay for some of this carry. All righty. All right. So the canola market, finding, not that we'd call it exciting per se. And have we found a floor? I don't think so. Not quite yet. We recovered from 610 to 640. That's $30 a ton. That's something. But have we found a floor? I don't think we're there quite yet, because the canola harvest, the bulk of it is here now. It's coming. All right. And there is some EPA stuff going on. Don't get me wrong. There's some biofuel policy stuff that, as of recording, we're trying to figure this out. So I'll get Susan Stroud on the show in short order to help us work through the latest in biofuel policy. But we found a little bit of momentum here. Now, I still think the harvest low is ahead of us yet. But the couple things I want to point out from this week is, I was listening to or reading Scott Moe's, what he had to say after being in China over the last week or so. And there's just two things that I want to point out of this article. Now, don't get me wrong. Premier Moe wants to unlock trade and to get canola moving here. Well, the one thing I pulled out of the article was that, we, Canada, are aligned with the U.S. on the EV tariffs to China. All right. So that the one thing I highlighted. And then the quote below that just talks about how you might want to satisfy one, again, I'm paraphrasing here, but, satisfy one area, Canada remove the tariffs on China EV vehicles, but that might upset the U.S. And so they talked about it being like a fine line to walk and trying to figure out how to get this sorted out. But it basically said it's not as easy as just removing this tariff. There's other things at play, and you have to kind of consider everybody, meaning China, the U.S., and of course Canada when it comes to that. So, all right. So again, this is looking for some positives here, not finding much out of that, and harvest just around the corner. Now, we'll see here when it comes to yield, canola yield in short order, what we're looking at, but I'm expecting a fair size crop. Okay. I would say the last thing on canola is I do think there's a spot here to make a sale. If we do get a positive soybean oil rally, something positive out of the EPA, then there's a chance to make a sale here. That's what I'm looking at doing for some of the 25 canola. All right. Okay. Let's keep moving here. Harvest Hustle. We'll do Harvest Hustle and then Eating Your Veggies right shortly after that. Harvest Hustle contest. This is for a trip to Halifax, Nova Scotia, folks. I'm talking curling, Olympic curling. I'm talking Alexander Keith's Brewery, Peggy's Cove, Lobster. I don't know. What else could you put? East Coast Hospitality. Anyways, a phenomenal trip, hotel, tickets to all the curling events, 3 square meals a day in the VIP lounge. We're going to draw for this probably that third week of October, that episode that week, I'm thinking. This is November 22nd to November 30th. There are 20 entries so far. 20. 20. If you want a trip to Halifax, folks, your odds are phenomenal right now. All you have to do, go to ryandenny.ca, upload your pictures. That's it. You'll be entered in. Fill out the form. You'll be entered in to win this curling trip package. All right, folks? 20 entries. You got this. Go get after it. Okay, of course, this harvest, I've been, the farm, they're actually, what are they on right now? Let me check John Deere Operations Center. Let's see if the crew is shut down. Oh, yes, 10 o'clock at night. They're definitely shut down. The wheat was testing 22. Oh, they did make a move here. Oh, they moved back to home base. All right. Okay, they parked 43 minutes ago. Oh, yeah, they're back at home base because they're going just north of the yard tomorrow. So get that equipment tucked in nice and safe for the night. Yeah, they're just going a little bit further north here tomorrow. All right, looks like the grain cart's still hanging out in the field, though. All righty. Okay, so John Deere Operations Center, I'm certainly keeping tabs on the farm, watching yield and moisture specifically. And for me, it's impacting our crop marketing decisions because I'm seeing these numbers roll in here and making tweaks on the fly, updating our cost of production, updating our numbers almost daily here, every couple days, but also using this data to firm up our cropping plans for next year. All right. We're rolling all of this into Harvest Profit, which is a fantastic farm financial software. If you have, a winter project ahead of you here, folks, it's to figure out, drill deep into your financials and figure out that game plan for 2026 and beyond. I can't stress that enough that you need to know your numbers, and Harvest Profit is a great tool to do that. I was chatting with someone involved in the banking industry and this week, and they said, actually, I spoke to a lot of bankers this week, but they said, come at us as your lender, come at us with your plan. What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? What are you going to execute here? Come to us with that plan, and you'll be in a better spot if you do. So this is just one tool for that. All right. Eating your veggies. I had a farmer ask me this week, Ryan, are you watching prices for the fall of 2026? I said, absolutely. I am, Randy. I'm watching all those prices. And I think you should be watching those prices as well. So number one, for eating your veggies, fall of 2026, you're getting sandbagged on basis a little bit here, but get those, maybe there's a target that makes sense for you. I asked a farmer the other day, I said, how much $8 wheat do you want to sell for next September? He said, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's basically $8. Our farm, we got offered like $7.30 for wheat for next fall. I can't afford to do it, but it's there. And then the farmer, Randy was drilling into canola. Like, Ryan, canola's north of $6.75 here. Like, what do you think? Yeah, you start building your plan here and start executing, get those targets in. Start building that plan for next year. Don't do what you did in 2025 for most of us, right? And we kind of got here and looked back and said, "Ooh, we didn't really have enough done." So start getting proactive on that plan. Number 2, cash flow review. All right. It's important for you to just see when you need to pay bills next, because I got a great quote. Trent Clarenbach has a new podcast out. I got a great quote from it here. Or a comment that his latest guest made, but a record lentil crop. That's what's being reported for the praise. Record lentil crop. And he said something along the lines of, if you need to, oh man, I'm paraphrasing again in this episode, but something about if you want to generate that cash from your lentils for January, you have to make the decision today. So you have to look long and hard to get the sale on today to get in line to generate that cash in January, February. I think that's what he meant by that comment. But a record lentil crop. All right. Anyway, cash flow review, very important. You have to do that. And then last one here, I want you to just breathe with me. Big breath in, breath out. Let's refocus. But I need you to reset your market expectations, your crop market expectations. You have to look forward. I wrote an article for Market Master last week. I said the title, don't look in the rear view mirror, not for too long. Look forward. Plan for today, plan for tomorrow, execute for next week. All right. We all need to do this. We need to reset our market expectations, our price expectations. Take a moment to, if you watch Men in Black, like wipe your memory and look forward. What's in front of me? Okay. Yes, canola was $15 or $16 a few months ago, but what is it going to be ahead of me? Make your plan moving forward. All right, folks, that's it for episode 93 of the What the Futures podcast. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate your time. Be safe out there at harvest. All right. We are over the halfway mark. Government data is always a little behind. You guys are over the halfway mark. Big run coming here. A couple more weeks to go. Fingers crossed that the weather holds. And weather's been a doozy for a bunch of you here lately. So moisture for next year, I guess. But thanks for hanging out. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. If you thought this episode was useful, pass it on. All right. I appreciate it. Again, stay safe. My name's Ryan. And for the What the Futures podcast, I'm out of here.